In yesterday's episode, we stumbled across a rickety bridge to find the lonely shack occupied by the widow, Agatha. She makes a living by playing music for traders on her homemade violin, but her music could be better, and so she asks us to find the Swa Stradivarius, a beautiful ancient violin that used to be owned by her great-great-grandmother, Hilga. Before the bombs dropped, Hilga was admitted to Vault 92, a vault set aside to preserve the world's best musicians. However, the location of Vault 92 has been lost to time. Agatha suggested that we head to the Vault-Tec regional headquarters here in DC to see if we can uncover the location of Vault 92. We find the rotting ruins of the Vault-Tec headquarters in the northeastern corner of Vernon Square. Upon entering, we arrive at a lobby, dimly lit by spotlights still shining from the ceiling. A thick mist permeates the room, and we hear the sounds of gunfire coming from the southwest. Super mutants had entered the building and awakened the pre-war security robots. We managed to clear them, but it looks as if we may have to fight more security robots as we explore further. We see that this lobby must have been resplendent in its day. We find large framed paintings all over the lobby's walls, but sadly they have been cut away or rotted by now. The lobby is a bit of a ruin. There's a northwestern staircase which has collapsed, and we see a staircase leading to a basement, but it has long since been filled with rubble. We see 3 terminals on the reception desk, along with telephones and cutlery, but the terminals are decayed and no longer work. The northwestern door leads to the ladies' restroom. The stalls are all empty except for the one to the northwest. Here we find a ruined Protectron sitting on the john. Poor little guy, caught in such a compromising position. Heading out, we can explore the men's bathroom to the southwest. Here we see that the super mutants had begun to move in. We find gore bags littering the floor, one in the stalls and one by the urinals. And on the wall we see a sign, Vault-Tec will be there. There's another staircase leading to the basement to the southwest, but like the northwestern one, it also is completely caved in with rubble. All the other hallways and doors leading out are completely blocked, leaving the staircase to the southwest our only avenue forward. However, before we go up, we see something interesting hanging from the ceiling. It's a vault door, but not just any vault door. This is either a spare or a reproduction of the vault door to Vault 101, our home. The place where we grew up. I suppose it's comforting to know that Vault-Tec was proud of their work at Vault 101. Heading back up the southwestern staircase, we see a door behind us to the east and a cafeteria section to the west. Heading west, we pass through a bunch of tables and chairs in disarray to loot a Nuka-Cola machine before entering the kitchen. The kitchen is quite a mess, but we do find a refrigerator filled with all sorts of food, including 1 Nuka-Cola. Aside from that, there's not much else here, so to move forward, we need to pass through the door to the east. This leads to the Vault-Tec corporate offices. Upon entry, Sharon immediately picks up the scent of an enemy. He marches off ahead of us, only to discover a sentry bot. And then a Mr. Gutsy rounds the corner. At the top of the stairs, we find ourselves in a hallway. We can go left or right. We hear the sound of some sort of machine moving around in the next room. So creeping around the corner to look into the eastern room, we continue to hear the noise, but we don't see anything. Until at length we see movement coming from the hole in the ceiling.
Where? Keep them pinned. The end of that.
With that sentry bot destroyed, the noise stops, and we can safely explore the ruins. The room we've entered is empty, save for some ruined shelves and rubble, and it opens up into a northern room through a big hole in the wall. Here we see that the ceiling has completely caved in. revealing a room on the second floor. There is a door against the northern wall of the second floor room, but with the floor gone, I'm not sure how we'll get there. We can then start looting these containers, a couple of toolboxes, a few other small metal boxes with randomized loot inside, and we find an easy locked safe to the northwest. Inside, we find a stash of 256 bottle caps. Not a bad haul. On our way out, we can loot a pre-war book sitting on a garbage can, that's 100 caps from Scribe Yearling, and a first aid kit sitting on the rubble of the second floor. But otherwise, this is a dead end, so back out the hole in the wall, we can continue forward by heading through the eastern door. As we pass through, we begin to hear the noise of a robo-brain.
Why don't you just come out where I can
Maybe I'm
see
just
you?
jumping.
We can turn left or right. Turning right, we can turn right again. To go down the hallway, which I think is going to connect back to the entrance, we see an Etotronic to the left, but it's completely empty. And next to this is a men's restroom, but this also is empty. But as we back out of the bathroom, we hear a Mr. Gutsy shouting at us. We just can't seem to be able to walk around without attracting the attention of the security robots. So to get rid of this guy, we can head out of the bathroom, turn east down the hallway, round the corner to the south, and then follow it as it turns back towards the east. Rounding this corner, we see that Sharon is already on the scent. We can follow him down another eastern hallway, which leads to a staircase with the Mr. Gutsy. And a robo-brain. Sharon continues upstairs to get rid of another Mr. Gutsy. And with that, we should finally be able to explore in peace. So heading back downstairs to finish exploring, we can turn into a western room, which we walked past earlier. Like the room with the safe, the ceiling of this room has collapsed, filling it with rubble. After looting the various containers, we can leave this room by the door to the north and walk across the hallway to explore the adjacent room. This was a series of office cubicles, but sadly none of the terminals work. However, we do find some dirty water and stim packs on a shelving unit to the northeast. Through a hole in this wall to the east, we can pass to another office cubicle, and heading out the doorway to the northeast, we can enter a ruined hallway, which leads back around, which leads us in a complete loop. With that, we finish exploring the bottom floor, and we can head up the stairs to explore the top floor. Turning north down the hallway, we see that the northernmost opening is blocked by rubble. The hallway turns west, but let's explore this door in the middle of the western wall first. This door leads to the room that was above the big ruined room that we just explored a moment ago. Turning around and heading west, we can explore the northern room, which is mostly empty, save for a Nuka-Cola Quantum on the bottom shelf of a shelving unit to the north. This room connects to another one by a big hole in the wall to the east. Here the floor has crumbled in an L shape, but if we're careful, we can sneak around one of the corners to the northern side of the room. There's not much here, but we do see a shelf against the wall to the southeast, and we see a big book of science laying on the shelf. It took me a couple of tries, but I was finally able to get the big book of science by leaping on top of this ruined refrigerator and jumping up and down until I got it. Backing out of this room and going left, we can go down the hallway until we find a door leading to the first ruined room we found. But this leads to a floor that doesn't lead anywhere, so we can go around the corner to find this hallway blocked up with desks, chairs, and filing cabinets. This is a dead end, so retracing our steps, we have to pass the room with the Nuka-Cola Quantum to our right to turn left down a hallway. This is the only way forward. We see a room to the right. It has the ruined sentry bot that we shot at through the hole in the floor near the beginning. The only thing of interest in this room is a door to the north. This is the door we saw when exploring that room with the pre-war book and the first aid kit. The floor is almost completely gone. We have to find a way to sneak around to get to that door, but it's a bit tricky. I was finally able to do it by walking to the northwest. We see some wood laid out to provide a bit of a ramp to go to the northwestern corner. We can then turn east and scoot along until we find the door. After opening the door, we find quite a stash of goods. Ammo boxes, stealth boys, scrap boxes, even a laser pistol, a first aid kit, just a whole lot of goodies. Backing out of this room, we see a staircase leading up to the south. This must be the way we need to go, but before we go that way, we can turn west down another hallway. This leads to a door to yet another bathroom, but there's nothing in this bathroom. We find a Nuka-Cola machine with some Nuka-Cola Quantum inside, and then this hallway leads to a dead end, completely blocked up with rubble and ruined furniture. With that, we finish exploring the second floor, so we can go down the southern hallway, where we find another intersecting hallway, but this one is blocked at both ends, so instead we can continue forward by going up the southern stairwell. This leads to a door at the top of the third floor to Vault-Tec administration. And immediately upon entry, we get attacked by a ceiling-mounted turret and a robo-brain. Robo-Brain came from a room to the north, but before we go down that, let's explore this hallway to the south. To the left, we see a stairway up to the fourth floor. Okay, so that must be the way forward. To the right, we see an Edatronic, and inside we've got a stim pack and some mentats. So to finish exploring this third floor, we need to turn around and go through that room with the Robo-Brain. Here, we find two working terminals on a desk. The first is the turret control system, and next to it, the systems operations station number 3. Inside, we find 3 categories. In the first category, important bulletins, we find 5 company-wide bulletins from Vault-Tec. And the first one, message 009AC security notice. Due to repeated attempts to obtain protected Vault-Tec information, the following security procedures have now been instituted. Number 1, shutdown of the VTMB-01 master brain requires authorization from all 3 system operator terminals. Number 2, all materials of a sensitive nature have been removed from external terminals, and access to the mainframe room requires authorization from all 3 system operator terminals. Okay, so we just learned 2 important things here. The first is that there appears to be a master brain in this building, and to shut him down, we have to access an option from 3 system operator terminals. And the second thing we learned is that there's a mainframe room in this building, which again, we can only access by gaining authorization from these same 3 system operator terminals. Well, the terminal we're reading right now is a system operator terminal. It was labeled number 3, so presumably we can get one part of the 3-step authorization from this terminal. Number 3, all mechanized security is now handled by the VTMB-01 Vault-Tec Masterbrain 01 Masterbrain via security uplink. Please do not tamper with this unit without an authorized service technician present. I see. So this master brain controls all other robots in the building. Presumably, if I were playing a stealthy character, I could sneak through this whole building and deactivate the master brain to turn off all security robots. But I'm not playing a stealth character, and I'll probably end up killing all of the robots before I even meet the master brain. Next up is 0099D vending machines. Once again, someone has been tampering with the vending machines in the cafeteria. This practice violates section VT00987/A in volume 17 of the Employee Handbook. If the machine malfunctions or does not dispense its contents properly, please refrain from kicking, shaking, punching, hitting with the fire extinguisher, or filling the coin slot with fecal matter. Oh no! These are very specific instructions. What kind of Vault-Tec employee would fill the coin slot of a vending machine with fecal matter? How could that possibly help? In the next one, message 0101C bathroom breaks. It has recently come to our attention that employees are abusing the liberal breaks policy as outlined in section VT00733/D in volume 18 of the Employee Handbook. As a result, Human Resource and Administration have come to an agreement on a reasonable time reduction. As of today, all bathroom breaks will be reduced from 2.37 minutes to 2.25 minutes. Holy cow! Vault-Tec was timing bathroom breaks? This is horrible in a number of ways. Some people just need longer to do their business. This could lead to health problems, like urinary tract infections. In the next one, message 0102A Vault 112 done. This is just a quick announcement to let you know that work on Vault 112 has been completed, sporting the latest and greatest in Vault technology. Way to go, Techites! The latest and greatest, eh? Well, I wonder if we'll ever be able to find Vault 112 and explore this Vault technology. It's interesting to note that internally they refer to each other as Techites. At least, the HR department does. In the final one, message 0114D Vault 92 changes. The following item has been added to the Vault 92 requisition request: 14 WMB type noise generators, 14 broadcast relays, and 14 monitoring terminals. If these changes are in error, please contact the Supplies and Planning Department immediately. Vault 92 is the very vault we are looking for. We already know from Agatha that rumor was that Vault 92 was supposed to be a place to preserve musical talent from before the war. This may explain the things we find in this requisition request. 14 broadcast relays. Maybe they had planned to broadcast music played by their inhabitants across the wasteland. WMB type noise generators. WNB type noise generators. NB noise. B broadcast. W white noise broadcast? Maybe the broadcast relays were for broadcasting internally among the vault. Does this mean they were broadcasting white noise? Why would they need to broadcast white noise in Vault 92? And what's with the monitoring terminals? Were they spying on the private lives of their own inhabitants? This has made me a little bit more uneasy about what we might find at Vault 92. Backing out of this category, we find exactly what we expected. The first option is Mainframe Station 3 Access Approval. After selecting it, we get a notice, Access Approved. So we've just unlocked one of the 3 locks necessary to gain entrance to the mainframe. Presumably we'll find the location of Vault 92 from the mainframe. The final option is Master Brain Shutdown. After selecting this, we get Station 3 Master Brain Shutdown approved, and the security procedures are added to our Pip-Boy as a note. Now, we destroyed that ceiling-mounted turret just a moment ago, but just in case there are others on this floor, we can hack the turret control system terminal to deactivate all turrets on this floor. And it's a good thing we did, because passing through the western door, we walk right into another ceiling-mounted turret. Rounding the corner leads to a jail cell? What? Turning off our Pip-Boy light and heading down this hallway, we arrive in some sort of server room. We are surrounded by large, hulking mainframes. The computers are so large that they take up the bulk of this tiny room. We have to navigate down tiny little hallways to get around. But we don't find any terminals, no way to access what's on these computers. Looking up, we do see another floor, or at least catwalks up here, and peering through my scope, I do see a monitor up there. Okay, that must be where we must go. So backing out of this room, we can retrace our steps until we find that staircase that led up to floor 4. Sharon again gets a wild hair and sneaks ahead of me to attack whatever enemies we might find here. And it just so happens that he completely destroys the Master Brain before I even got there. The 2 of us then got rid of a ceiling-mounted turret. Well, I applaud Sharon for his tenacity, but I was really curious to see if this Master Brain had anything to say. So reloading a previous save, I left Sharon behind and had a chat with the Master Brain.
All non-essential personnel are to be removed from premises. The administration level is off limits to non-essential personnel. Intruder alert. Contacting Vault-Tec security. Proper Vault-Tec ID not present. Engaging target. Prime directive, protect Vault-Tec data.
The Master Brain patrolling on this level is just a unique robo-brain. It has the words Vault-Tec and the Vault-Tec logo emblazoned on its chassis. And though it has the same voice of a robo-brain, it has unique dialogue pertinent to this building.
Continuing intruder countermeasures.
I didn't find the Master Brain any more difficult than a typical robo-brain. Just a few shots from my Master Blaster did the trick. With the Master Brain destroyed, we can activate the wreckage to access the Master Brain's internal mechanisms. If we destroy its uplink, it'll cause all of the automated security units in Vault-Tec to shut down. We can do nothing or destroy the security uplink. With the Master Brain destroyed and all of the robots turned off, we can now explore the rest of the Vault-Tec ruins in peace. Heading back to the top of the staircase, we can open the first door directly in front of it to the west, which leads us to another server room. Here we find System Operation Terminal Station 1. The first option is all of the same important bulletins that we read previously, and the final one is Mainframe Station 1 access approval. Notice that the master brain shutdown that we found in Terminal 3 on the floor below is gone. That's because we've already destroyed the master brain. With that, we've gained access to 2 of the 3 keys we need to unlock the mainframe room. Backing out and turning down the hallway, we can take the first right, where we find another terminal called Vault-Tec Employee Terminal. Here we find all the same bulletins as we read earlier, with 2 new sections. Employee Store, where we find a bunch of items for sale. A baseball cap, a t-shirt, a leather bomber jacket, a golf tee, a drink cozy, a lunchbox, and a bobblehead. Each time we click on one, we get a notice that the cost has been deducted from our paycheck. Enjoy! Except for when we choose the bobblehead. If we choose bobblehead, we get a notice that the bobbleheads are only available to executive level employees. Well, Vault-Tec sure made it easy for their own employees to spend their hard-earned money on Vault-Tec paraphernalia. Of course, whatever delivery system they used to deliver these goods to the employee has long since disappeared, so we don't actually get anything from choosing these options. The final option is to page employee, but we see that the internal paging system is offline. Backing out of this room and continuing down the hallway, we see the master brain we destroyed earlier and a doorway to the right. This leads to another workstation where we find the System Operations Station number 2 on a desk to the southeast. Here we see all the same important bulletins, and we can choose Mainframe Station 2 Access Approval. With this final bit of access approved, we can open the door to the mainframe. But of course, first we have to find the mainframe. Further exploring this room, we find 2 Vault-Tec lunchboxes on a desk to the northeast, which is great for making bottle cap mines at any workbench. And you see that wall safe behind the filing cabinet? That is actually part of a mod. So ignore that, it won't appear in your game. To the northeast, we find a little supply closet with even more Vault-Tec lunchboxes. For those of you who spec into explosives and really enjoy your bottle cap mines, this is a great place to hit. Here we also find a first aid kit. Backing out of this room, we can open a door to the southwest right behind the wreckage of the master brain, and inside we just find a bunch of consoles and other computers. Nothing we can interact with. Backing out, going down the hallway, we find another restroom to the right. I guess they had to have a whole bunch of bathrooms on every floor if the employees only had 2.5 minutes for a bathroom break. We don't find anything in this room, so back out, we can go down a hallway to the left where we see a Mr. Gutsy patrolling. Now, we wouldn't see this guy patrolling if after destroying the master brain, we also destroyed its uplink to the other robots. But remember, I reloaded a previous save to show off the master brain up close and personal, and at this point in my recording, I hadn't destroyed the uplink yet. This Mr. Gutsy looks like he was guarding some sort of executive room, but before we explored, we can open a door to the east. We find another room with consoles and computers, but nothing else. At the end of a hallway, we find a turret control system terminal. We can hack it to shut down the turrets, which is a great thing because rounding the corner, we find the turret. But before we go down this hallway, we'll retrace our steps and go into that executive area. We find a big reception desk where we can loot the ash pile of the Mr. Gutsy, and we find 2 offices, possibly the offices of minor executives. The room to the north is empty, and the room to the south has a copy of Grognak the Barbarian on one of the desks. When done, we can go back down that hallway that had the ceiling-mounted turret and open up a cage door leading to a hallway. This hallway is bathed in green light, which I believe tells us that we've successfully unlocked the door to the mainframe. And we can walk across the catwalk to access the Vault-Tec mainframe terminal. You have accessed the Vault-Tec mainframe. We only have 2 options: to do nothing or to download vault locations and access codes. With that, we download the locations of every single Vault-Tec vault in the Capital Wastelands, and in so doing, we discover the location of Vault 92. We also learn the names of all other vaults in the area, Vaults 87, 106, and 108. At this point in my exploration of Fallout 3, we haven't explored any of these vaults yet. Looks like we have a whole lot to do. But taking a look at our world map, we can see where the location of Vault 92 is, and oh my goodness, it's way, 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 way up at the northernmost edge of the map, right next to Old Olney. Well, that doesn't make sense. I explored the snot out of Vault-Only in a previous video, and I didn't see any door to a vault. How could I possibly have missed it? To leave, we retrace our steps. Instead of turning right down the hallway where we killed that master brain, we can turn left. Here we find a door to another bathroom, but again, nothing inside. So instead, we can go west down the staircase. Remember, we are on the 4th floor, so we take this staircase all the way down to the bottom floor. It's a bit of a trip. At the very bottom, we find a door to Vault-Tec guest relations. This brings us out to that little balcony in the entry room where we killed that Protectron. Remember, we couldn't access this because the northwestern staircase was destroyed. But we're here now, and we find a Nuka-Cola machine and a whole bunch of tables laid out in cups, plates, and Vault-Tec lunchboxes. I got excited seeing all of these mugs. For a brief moment, I thought I was playing Fallout New Vegas. I was gonna start collecting these for Muggy, but then I realized there's no point. We can walk away with a couple boxes of sugar bombs for the unmarked side quest Sugar Bomb Run. We find some Mentats on a counter by some coffee machines to the southwest, and a copy of Tales of a Junktown Jerky vendor lying on the table to the northwest. To leave, we can hop down through a gap in the balcony railing to the wrecked staircase and head out the front door. Now, we know the location of Vault 92, but we still have to find the entrance. Since we explored Old Olney with a fine-toothed comb in a previous video, the entrance to Vault 92 must be hidden. We will discover the entrance to Vault 92 and uncover the horrifying experiment that went on there in tomorrow's episode. I publish a new Fallout video 6 days a week on a wide range of topics spanning all of the games. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss our next episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. I announce any and all changes to my production schedule on Facebook and Twitter. So if you want to keep up to date with everything Oxhorn, consider following me on social media. And if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for Episode 3, Vault 92.